the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Philippines and New Zealand reaffirmed defense ties during bilateral talks in Wellington. Joint anti-drug operations lead to discovery and eradication of 2 marijuana plantations in Kalingalan, Kaluang. President Marcos says oil excise tax cut possible if Dubai crude tops $80 per barrel. PBBM assures no global supply chain impact yet from Middle East tensions.
Good day everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Aguinaldo in Quezon City. Today is Wednesday, March 4, and this is AFP Community News, your source for the updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. In behalf of Rob Suzon Abay, this is Jhai Simbajon here to bring you today's stories.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Philippines and New Zealand successfully convened the 6th Philippines-New Zealand bilateral defense talk in Wellington, New Zealand. The Philippines delegation, led by Department of National Defense Senior Undersecretary Ireneo C. Espino, was warmly welcomed by New Zealand party led by Secretary of Defense Brooke Barrington. During the talks, the two countries discussed progress on defense cooperation activities, including capacity building programs, maritime cooperative activities, and participation in multilateral exercises. Meanwhile, coinciding with the 60th anniversary of Philippines-New Zealand diplomatic relations, Senior Undersecretary Espino reiterated the DND's dedication to advancing the bilateral relationship to a comprehensive partnership this year.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And a joint anti-drug operation led to the discovery and eradication of 2 marijuana plantation sites in Barangay Masjid, Punjungan, Sulu yesterday, March 3. The said operations were led by the 112nd Infantry Ganarul Brigade and were composed of elements from PDEA Sulu, 21st Infantry Battalion, 101st Infantry Battalion, Sulu Police Provincial Office, CIDG Region 9, 1st and 2nd Provincial Mobile Force Companies, 905th Maneuver Company, and the Municipal Police Station of Kalingalan, Kaluang. The first site, measuring approximately 1,000 square meters, contained 5,500 fully grown marijuana plants, while the second site, covering 2,000 square meters, yielded 6,000 plants. In total, 11,500 fully grown marijuana plants were discovered and destroyed across 3,000 square meters with an estimated value of 10,350,000 pesos.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear some information from Joanne about 3rd Mechanized Infantry Battalion joins 117th founding anniversary celebration of San Manuel, Tarlac. Joanne?
The 3rd Mechanized Infantry Battalion Philippine Army joined the people of San Manuel, Tarlac in celebration of the municipality's 117th founding anniversary on March 1. In line with the celebration, the unit provided armored vehicles for static display, which aimed to enhance public awareness on the capabilities of the Philippine Army and to promote a stronger connection between the armed forces and the community. Spectators were given the opportunity to view the equipment up close, fostering greater appreciation on the role of the Philippine Army in maintaining peace and security. The participation of 3rd Mechanized Infantry Battalion in community-initiated activities highlighted the military's continuous commitment to transparency, community engagement, and support to local government initiatives. This is John Zagaok reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And troops of the 104th Infantry Para sa Bayan Battalion, in coordination with the Lugos Municipal Police Station, recovered the voluntary turnover or received the voluntary turnover of 1 9mm pistol, 1 9mm Uzi, submachine gun, and 1 caliber 30 M1 carbine rifle. The surrender is part of continuing grassroots engagement efforts in support of the municipality's peace campaign and the implementation of the Municipal Task Force to End Local Armed Conflict. 104th IB Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Roy R. Dalumpines reflects the improvement in the long-term build-up of trust and cooperation with local leaders. Meanwhile, Joint Task Force Orion and the 11th Infantry Division Commander Major General Leonardo I. Peña highlighted that voluntary surrenders signify growing public confidence in government peace initiatives and continued progress toward lasting stability in Sulu.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the 10th Infantry Aguila Division welcomed nearly 400 riders during the Davao de Oro Motor Ride 2026 at Camp General Manuel T. Yan Sr. in Barangay Tuburan, Mawab. The 378-kilometer tourism motorcade traversed Pantukan, Mabini, Maco, Mawab, Maragusan, Nubataan, Compostela, Moncayo, Laak, Montevista, and Nabunturan. The 10th ID headquarters served as a key stopover and completion site where participants viewed static displays of military assets and received briefings on the Philippine Army's role in sustaining peace and security. 10th ID Commander Major General Alvin Lozon reaffirmed the division's commitment to maintaining a secure environment that allows tourism, investment, and community development to flourish across Davao de Oro and the wider Davao region.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
From 1st CRG, more updates from Meljoy about 5th Infantry Division conducts organizational development management training to former rebels in Quirino. Meljoy?
Yes, good afternoon. Despite the 5th Infantry Division's transition from internal security operations to external security operations, its line units continue to provide assistance and guidance to former members of the CPP-NPA-NDF who have chosen to embrace peace and development. Led by the 502nd Infantry Liberator Brigade and in collaboration with the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation and Unity, the Organizational Development Management Training was successfully conducted at Balay Silangan. Other agencies who supported the said event were the Department of Interior and Local Government, Department of Labor and Employment, Department of Social Welfare and Development, and the Provincial Government of Quirino. This training was intended for former rebels who are now part of people's organizations formed under the Community Support Program of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict. Part of the program is the formation of a technical working group led by the local government unit of Quirino with elected officials from each former rebel organization. This aims to provide the organizations with clearer direction, recognition, and direct access to programs available to them. The 5th Infantry Division will continue to support different government agencies in conducting activities that will not just change the lives of the former rebels and help them reunite with their families, but will also lead them towards achieving safe and prosperous community. This is Meldry Nesho Arroco reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Meljoy.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the 15th Forward Service Support Unit of the Service House of the Support Command conducted logistical assessment to the 1102nd Infantry Gunner Rule Brigade at Camp Aka, Barangay Bua, Luok, Sulu. 15th Vaso Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Bernie E. Afable conducted a comprehensive review and assessment of the brigade's logistical requirements, focusing on the adequacy, management, and serviceability of supplies, equipment, and other mission essential resources. Personnel from the 15th Vaso carried out inspections of brigade vehicles and equipment to assess maintenance conditions and operational readiness, and also delivered necessary spare parts to address identified deficiencies. Meanwhile, the visit is part of a continuing effort to ensure that the frontline units are properly equipped and maintained to support the ongoing operational commitments.
DWDD Armed Forces.
And for our national news,
DWDD National News.
the Department of Agriculture is exploring ways to mitigate the potential impact of oil shocks in the country's food systems amid escalating tensions in the Middle East. DA Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. warned the prolonged tension could quickly affect the country's agriculture sector, through adjustments on fuel and fertilizers prices as well as freight costs. The DA assured it is closely monitoring the development in the Gulf region, particularly in the Strait of Hormuz, where a significant portion of the world's oil supply passes. It noted that any disruption along this corridor has historically triggered spikes in global crude prices, tightening energy markets and amplifying volatility across the commodity supply chains.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, let us hear more from Jess about Information Education Campaign reaches 400 students in Macalelelon, Quezon. Jess?
Yes, good afternoon. An information education campaign was conducted for 400 students of Olongtao National High School in Barangay Olongtao, Macalelon, Quezon, aimed at empowering the youth through awareness and values formation initiatives. A key highlight of the activity was the introduction of Project CC-Ball, steadfast initiative for students inspired to be outstanding leaders, a seminar workshop designed to enhance leadership skills, discipline, safety preparedness, and youth protection among students. The initiative underscores the continued commitment to nurturing young individuals with integrity, compassion, and capability to lead, contributing to lasting peace and sustainable development in the community. This is Jess from Solcom reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jess.
DWDD National News.
And President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said he may seek emergency powers to reduce excise tax on petroleum products if Dubai crude exceeds $80 per barrel. Marcos said the proposed tax cut amid the Middle East crisis is not yet a sure thing. He added that he is going to talk to the leaders in both the House and in the Senate. The chief executive then expressed hope that the tensions in the Middle East would ease so the government would no longer need to implement such a contingency measure.
DWDD National News.
And President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said there is no significant disruption yet in the global supply chain despite escalating tensions in the West and the Middle East. Marcos described the situation as very fluid and volatile, noting that the information reaching the government remains limited as the conflict area is a war zone. He added the potential increase in consumer goods would depend on the duration of the crisis. The chief executive also said oil price shocks take time to move through the system before daily consumers feel the impact on basic commodities.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now some information from Lenore about the authorities arrested Chinese nationals in illegal gold processing operation in Zamboanga del Norte. Lenore?
2 Chinese nationals were apprehended in Zamboanga del Norte after authorities uncovered their involvement in unauthorized gold processing operation. The joint enforcement action was conducted by the Bureau of Immigration and the Sibutan Municipal Police Station with security support from Joint Task Force Zambilan, including elements of the 102nd Infantry Brigade and the 97th Infantry Battalion. Authorities identified the suspect as Tao Zhang 59 from Shaanxi Province, China, and Zhenggong Zhang 41 from Hubei Province, China. Investigators said the two were allegedly operating a gold ball milling facility used in processing mineral ore without the required permits and regulatory compliance. The apprehended individuals were turned over to the Bureau of Immigration for appropriate legal proceedings. This is Leonor Tarap reporting for AFP Community News, 1FP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Lenore.
DWDD National News.
And beneficiaries seeking government assistance no longer need to line up before dawn. This as the Department of Social Welfare and Development expands operations at its Crisis Intervention Unit Satellite Office along Commonwealth Avenue in Quezon City. The DSWD said the upgraded CIU facility now operates as a larger 3-story, fully air-conditioned hub designed to speed up processing under the Assistance to Individuals in Crisis Situations program, while providing a more orderly and comfortable environment for clients. To manage the daily influx of clients and prevent overcrowding, the agency imposed a limit of 1,400 beneficiaries per day.
DWDD National News.
And the Senate looked into the Department of Education's proposal to shift the basic education calendar from quarterly to a 3-term structure, beginning school year 2026 to 2027. The proposal came amid concerns over declining literacy and student proficiency. Senate Committee on Basic Education Chair Senator Bama Kine said the inquiry aims to assess whether the structural reform would help address learning gaps and improve proficiency outcomes. He emphasized that every year that these interventions are delayed, an entire generation may lose the opportunity to uplift their lives and those of their families.
DWDD. National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear more updates from Shaina about 4 NPA members surrender, yield 5 high-powered firearms to 26 Infantry Battalion in Agusan del Sur.
Yes, good afternoon. 4 remaining members of the New People's Army have surrendered to troops of the 26th Infantry Battalion in Talocogon, Agusan del Sur. The surrenders also turned over 5 high-powered firearms consisting of 3 M16 rifles, 1 Galay rifle, 1 M4A carbine, 10 long magazines and 4 short magazines, 3 bandoliers, 2 buffing radios, 190 rounds of 5.56mm ammunition, and medical paraphernalia. According to Lieutenant Colonel Jose Redentor Gilbela, the commanding officer of the 26th Infantry Battalion, the successful surrender was the joint efforts of the 26th IB together with the 1st Special Force Battalion and 4 ID intelligence units. The 4 surrenders will undergo custodial debriefing and documentation before being endorsed to appropriate government agencies for assistance under the Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program or ECLIP, which provides financial aid, livelihood opportunities, and other benefits. This is Shaina Araneta reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Sha.
DWDD. National News.
And more than 5,000 public school teachers will receive their much-awaited promotion following the approval of reclassification applications. The Department of Education said 5,335 reclassification applications were approved in coordination with the Department of Budget and Management. This is in line with the directives of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to prioritize teachers' welfare and professional development. DepEd Secretary Sonny Angara said the implementation of the expanded career progression demonstrates the administration's sustained efforts in strengthening career advancement opportunities for public school teachers nationwide.
DWDD. National News.
And over 1,400 Filipinos in the Middle East have requested repatriation as the conflict between Israel and the United States and Iran intensifies. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said the situation remains very fluid, with airports closed, airspace restricted, and combat operations expanding to more areas, complicating evacuation efforts. The president reported that 586 Filipinos in Dubai, 297 in Israel, 270 in Abu Dhabi, 231 in Bahrain, 22 in Jordan, and 10 in Iran have requested to be repatriated back to the Philippines. Marcos said Philippine embassies, labor attachés, and defense attachés remain in constant contact with Filipino communities in affected countries and are coordinating closely with host governments for guidance.
DWDD. National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear more from Jimboy about 3rd CMO Battalion joins first quarter MADAC and IMPOC meeting in Zaraga, Iloilo. Jimboy?
The 3rd Civil Military Operation Battalion actively participated in the first quarter Joint Municipal Anti-Drug Abuse Council and Municipal Peace and Order Council meeting held at the Municipal Conference Room of Zaraga, Iloilo. The meeting was presided by the Honorable Jeffrey M. Silveo, Municipal Mayor of Zaraga, and was attended by key stakeholders from various government agencies and partners institutions. The 3rd CMO Battalion presided update on the implementation of the Community Awareness, Peace Law Enforcement and Development Support Program in the municipality of Zaraga. The gathering served as the platform to access the municipality's current peace and order situation and to strengthen interagency coordination in addressing security concern and anti-illegal drug initiative. This is Jimboy reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jimboy.
DWDD National News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ordered government offices to implement energy-saving measures. Marcos acknowledged the need to balance energy security, price stabilization, and fiscal sustainability. The president also directed all government agencies to reduce energy consumption and encourage the use of public transport. The chief executive then said that while domestic fuel supply remains sufficient, reducing consumption could help cushion the impact of rising global prices on households.
DWDD National News.
And the Philippines underscored the need for a responsive, inclusive, and resilient regional community as it opened the 40th Senior Officials Committee for the Association of Southeast Asian Nations Socio-Cultural Community meeting in Makati City. Speaking before senior officials and representatives of ASEAN member states and the ASEAN Secretariat at the Peninsula Manila, Department of Social Welfare and Development Undersecretary for Policy and Planning Group Adonis Sulit welcomed delegates and reaffirmed the country's commitment to advancing the socio-cultural pillar. Sulit extended greetings to new SOCA members and recognized the presence of senior officials who ensure institutional knowledge and continuity. He described the 40th SOCA meeting as both timely and significant as ASEAN navigates an increasingly complex global environment marked by overlapping social, economic, health, climate, and technological challenges.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And we have more updates from Mike about first EODC neutralizes 868 explosive hazards in series of operation. Mike?
The first explosive ordnance disposal company has neutralized hundreds of explosive hazards in a series of operations across Luzon. A total of 868 explosive items were safely neutralized, 500 were eliminated in Labo, Camarines Norte, 234 in Milagros, Masbate, and 134 in Capas, Tarlac. Recovered hazards included improvised explosive devices or IEDs, improvised mines, grenades, high explosive cartridges, rifle grenades, explosive accessories, and a general purpose bomb and other high explosive munitions. Officials said the accomplishment highlights the unit's discipline, technical capability, and strong commitment to mission readiness in safeguarding lives, property, and national security. This is Mike reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mike. Another update from Erica about 93rd Infantry Battalion launches Modified Community Support Program in Mahaplag, Leyte. Erica?
Yes, Jhai, the 93rd Infantry Battalion successfully launched the Modified Community Support Program at the covered court of Barangay Pinamanoan in Mahaplag, Leyte. The event was led by 93rd IB Commander Lieutenant Colonel Celeste Frank Saison, which attended by Barangay Council officials, tanods, community leaders, youth representatives, and other residents. In his message, Lieutenant Colonel Saison assured the people that the battalion will continue to work with them to implement government programs, deal with local concerns, and strengthen the barangay security initiatives. The Modified Community Support Program aims to improve collaboration between the military and local government units and the community in order to promote sustainable growth and provide a safe and progressive environment for all residents. This is Erica reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Erica.
DWDD National News.
And the House Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms approved a substitute bill for the long-sought anti-political dynasty law, with a second degree of consanguinity or affinity pushed as the limit for political families. Committee Chairman Lanao del Sur 1st District Representative Zia Alonto Adyong led the deliberations on the 25 anti-political dynasty measures referred to in their current 20th Congress. The substitute bill was based on House Bill number 6771, filed by House Speaker Isabella's 6th District Representative Faustino D. III, and Majority Leader Ilocos Norte 1st District Representative Sandro Marcos. Adyong said they adopted the committee report and hopefully by next week they will be delivering their committee report on the plenary to also start and begin the plenary debates for its eventual approval on the floor.
DWDD National News.
And that's all for today's broadcast. Thank you for joining us, especially to our audience in our DWDD AFP Radio Facebook page. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for more updates, same time, same station. Again, this is Jhai Simbajon for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.